let me join in thanking the sponsors for being here and for your participation, not just for this event, but your participation in this community, your generosity, the jobs that you provide, the revenue that you provide. So thank you to all the business owners that are here, whether you're a sponsor or not. So I appreciate your attendance and the difference that you help us make here in the city of Southgate. So thank you. I have the honor and privilege to serve as the city manager of the city of Southgate. We're a council, just briefly, I'll give you your Civics 101, so you can add this to your cumulative credits or whatever you need for your various advanced degrees. But we're a council city manager form of government. The council serves as the legislative body. As the city manager, I serve as the head of the administrative body. And then Raul Salinas, who I believe Raul is here. Is Raul? Stand up, Raul. He's the head of our legal side of the house. So it's my pleasure to stand before you representing the over 300 employees that provide services in the city of Southgate. So these are literally your tax dollars at work. And if I can just real briefly have the department heads for the different departments, please stand. I see the chief is right here in charge of the police department. Arturo Cervantes, Public Works. I saw Jackie Acosta, which is finance, was here. Paul Adams is our Park Recreation Community Services Director, and our newest director is Joe Perez, who runs the Community Development Department. It is such an honor and a privilege to serve you through them and their efforts. You can sit down, thanks very much. Why do I have to tell them to stand up and sit down? That didn't go right perfectly, but it's just such a privilege to serve in the capacity as city manager, and I appreciate the trust that not only the council but the community has placed in all of the employees of the city, so thank you for that. But today I have the privilege of introducing the mayor of the city of Southgate, whom everyone here knows. Two different components to that. There's just the traditional bio, which I will read through quickly, but then I also want to touch, as I've gotten to know Mayor Morales over this past year, as mayor, I've got to know him a lot better. First and foremost, this laying of the hands concept, Jorge has a very similar thing he does, only it goes like this, and it tightens around your throat, and then you feel compelled to do whatever it is that he asks you to do. The mayor was first appointed as a council member in March of 2011, and then he was re-elected in March of 2015. This is the bio part, so endure me while I get through this. He's been a lifelong resident of the city of Southgate, attending elementary school, middle school, and high school. I'm proud to report that he graduated from all three. Congratulations on that. This is not supposed to be a roast, but somehow whenever I get a microphone, it quickly turns into a roast. But I appreciate that he is born and raised locally, and with that comes a passion and an emotional commitment to every single project and every single issue that comes before him on the dais. So many of us live in other communities. Many of you serve other communities where you weren't born and raised, and I truly believe that it makes a difference in how you approach the work, and it's personal, much more so than even someone who is new to the community that is extremely dedicated to a community. It's just very, very personal. It shows in every decision that Jorge makes. Graduated from Cal State Long Beach with a bachelor's degree in political science, 13 years working in the public sector for folks like Assemblymember Marco Antonio Firebaugh, LAUSD board member Yoli Flores, legislative deputy for the former county supervisor Gloria Molina. Currently working in the private sector as the vice president of business development for the Morello Group is a beautiful wife who is here, Erica, and a beautiful, beautiful son, Santiago, who apparently cries every time you leave, which is very similar to us crying every time you show up, which we only a little different. All right, so why are we here? So here for two reasons. One, because for some reason, for many reasons, and I'll try to do my best to articulate a few of those, everyone in this room is drawn to Jorge Morales. He is a different individual, and it's unmistakable the more you get to know him that he is a different person than most. And we're also here to learn a lot about the city of Southgate. And I have a comparative perspective. I've spent the vast majority of my career working in another city, and so I have a great deal of comparative analysis that takes place on a regular basis. Southgate is in fact a very, very unique and very, very special community. It is different in ways that Jorge is going to articulate in terms of the projects and the different programs that we bring forward, but it's most different in the people. There is a commitment, a passion on this entire council, a dedication that is not just in words, but in action that is difficult to describe in a very short speech, and my speech is getting longer and longer. But what is it specifically about Jorge? I think in Jorge we see in him the leaders that we wished were in Sacramento and were in Washington, D.C. And what is that? He has values that we wish we saw in other elected leaders. He values his faith, his family, his commitment to excellence, continuous improvement, and above all, integrity. I have yet to meet a legislative representative with more integrity than Jorge, and you're an example to the entire region, I think, in that area, and trying to take it throughout the region. So appreciate that, and thank you for that. The grace with which he makes decisions, and the entire council does this, and you'll continue to hear me hedge because I report to the entire council, so I'll continue talking about the entire council, but the council in Southgate, and especially Jorge, are tasked to make very difficult decisions that involve competing values, whether there's limited dollars in funding, whether it's trying to figure out how to fund senior services versus youth services, labor versus business priorities, street infrastructure versus bicycle infrastructure, and it takes a fair amount of humility and a fair amount of grace, and Jorge brings those things to the table. He also brings a tremendous sense of humor. Those of you that know him well, as I've gotten to know him, truly appreciate his leadership, but that it's tempered with humility and humor. There's some things that I can help as knowing him and working with him on a daily basis now for the past year. I can help decoder ring some of the things. If you ever get a text or an email from Jorge that starts dude or bro, you're in trouble. Because typically dude or bro is followed with dude, how many times do I have to tell you that there's graffiti on this building? Or bro, how many times do I have to explain to you X, Y, and Z? Likewise, if you ever get an email that starts with the word team, where he refers to you as team, he is sucking you in and he is attempting to extract from you an exorbitant amount of work. So look for those key indicators when you get either an email or a text from him. Another thing I love about Jorge is Jorge sends a lot of referrals and a lot of folks our way as staff. Most of those start with, I know the mayor when they meet with you. Well, everybody knows Jorge, so that is not a starter. So if Jorge has referred you to us, the starter of I know the mayor, it's similar to when Mr. Gonzalez was the mayor. I know Henry, everybody knows Henry. So you can save yourself that. I'll leave you with this. I have a favorite quote, and baseball season's coming, and it's Jackie Robinson. And it's very simple. And Jackie Robinson said, a life is not important except in the impact that it has on other lives. And if that is true, then I want to introduce and welcome and help me welcome one of the most important people you'll ever meet, Jorge Morales, the mayor of the city of Southgate.
Oh, wow. You know, you guys just killed a joke from me. So I have this little vision that one day I'm going to give a speech at a place where everybody's standing because it's a reception, and I'm going to say that it's my first standing ovation. You guys just ruined it for me. Thank you for that. So let me just begin with some thank yous before I get into the state of the city. So as many of you know, I used to be a staff member for many years, and so it's really hard for me to let go. And so I just want to thank Richard, Marina, and Giselle, and the whole team who put this together, because I always kept asking questions. Every 10 minutes, who's coming, who's sponsoring, who's doing this, what's going on, is the food ready, what's happening? And I think they did a fantastic job. What do you guys think? I also want to take this opportunity to thank city staff for making us look good every day, for cleaning our parks, for protecting our streets, for working at City Hall, for everything you do every day for us. If we haven't told you thank you in a long time, I just want to say that on behalf of the 96,000 residents, if you're a city employee, thank you for your service to our community. Thank you very much. To my colleagues on the council, I want to thank you for letting me run wild for a year. Thank you so much, Maria, Bill, Belen. Gil's not here. He's coaching a baseball team or a softball team, but he's not here. But they've been very supportive. I have a lot of dreams, a lot of visions, a lot of goals I want to accomplish, and they've been very supportive of every single one, and I thank you for that. I thank you for your service also to this community. You've been incredible. I wouldn't have it any other way. I thank you every day for the service that you provide, and I'm just blessed to have you on my team. Thank you. I also want to thank the sponsors. Thank you so much, you guys. I know I made a lot of personal calls for this. This is a fundraiser for the Southgate Chamber of Commerce, but it was important to me. It was important to me because I'm trying to raise the bar for this city. I'm trying to make sure that every event looks like this, that everybody expects quality from not only Southgate, but the entire Southeast. That is a passion of mine, and I hope it shows today. So thank you, sponsors, for making this possible for me and my team. There's some more folks I just want to thank. I want to thank my family. I can never get this without choking up. I really want to thank my mom and my wife. They've been so incredible to me. I remember when I ran for office 5 years ago, there were days when it was just me, my mom, and my wife. The time she was my girlfriend. That's when I knew I had to marry her. She was a keeper. She was incredible. You've been both very supportive of me, and on behalf of myself and the 96,000 residents of Southgate, I just really want to, on the bottom of my heart, I want to thank you so much. Mom, gracias por todo lo que has hecho por mí, todos tus sacrificios. Por ti es que estoy aquí hoy. Gracias, mami. And to my wife. And to my wife, thank you for being an incredible mother. You've given me a gift that words can't even begin to explain. You turned my life up, right side up is what you did. So thank you, mamas, I love you. And I just want to present on behalf of myself again. Why do I keep saying that? I want to just present some flowers to my wife and to my mom to show my appreciation. Yeah. All right, you guys ready? I hope you guys put aside like 2-3 hours. I see my boss looking at me like, you gotta be back at work in 22 minutes. So, my name is Jorge Morales and I'm the mayor of the city of Southgate. It's so incredible to be able to say those words. It's been such an incredible journey. This past year has been amazing. I was one of 150 mayors that was invited throughout the country to meet with the President of the United States in Washington, D.C. I was also invited to sit in the front row as our friend, our current assembly member, was sworn in as the speaker for the California State Assembly. I've been invited to speak at universities, at summits, at press conferences to talk about our city, leadership, and my story. And I share this not to brag. Those of you that know me, you know I'm bragging. But I don't share it to brag, but to tell a story that, if you really work hard enough, you guys, your dreams could come true. You see, my trajectory wasn't always like this. When I graduated high school, from Southgate High School in 1992, I'm 41, don't do the math, my dad said to me, "Te graduaste al panzazo. You barely got by." And it was true. I wasn't a very good student. I was average at best. And it wasn't until many years later que se me prendió el foco. It wasn't until many years later that a light turned on and said I have to do things a little differently. You see, my dad lost his job when I was about 23 years old. And my dad had the greatest work ethic. He still does. And a machine came over and took a job that him and a lot of his co-workers could do. And they were all laid off. My dad didn't have a skill set, a resume, a college degree. Just work ethic. And times were really tough. Couldn't find a job. And when a head of household can't provide for his or her family, it kind of eats at the core of who you are. It eats at the core of your family. And so there was talks of divorce, there was talks of us losing our home. And that's when I decided that I needed to do something a little bit different. That I needed to get a college degree, that I needed to have something to fall back on just in case. Just in case my job was also taken over by technology. And so I enrolled in Cerritos College. A couple years later, transferred over to Long Beach State, and I majored in political science. Go Long Beach State. Oh, no, go Cerritos College, sorry. Go Falcons. And so I'm about to graduate. Life is a little bit better. My dad got a job. He actually got into the trades, the building trades. Got into construction and did better for himself, and life was better. I had a better job. I was working in quality control at a warehouse. And I'm about to graduate, and I talked to the professor, and he says, so what's next? And I said, I don't know. I don't know what I want to do. I don't know what a degree in political science buys you. I said, all I know is that I go to bed at night not feeling satisfied about my day. Not feeling satisfied about my day. And I wake up in the morning and I don't feel excited about the day ahead of me. That's all I can tell you right now. And he said, why don't you come with me to Sacramento? We're going to do this thing called Lobby Day. And you're going to meet politicians, and you're going to meet lots of folks. And so I got to Sacramento. It was my first time, away from my parents on a trip, even though I was old. It worked out that way. And I got to Sacramento, and I just fell in love with that building, with the beautiful white columns and the paintings of great men and women that have served our state. And I said to myself, one day I want to work in this great building. But I thought it was going to be a dream, like my dream of being a professional baseball player, and it never came true because I'm 5'7", and I can't hit a baseball. And I fell in love. About a month after I graduated from Long Beach State, the same professor calls me and says, there's this guy by the name of Armando Vasquez, that's the professor, sorry, Marco Antonio Fireball, who's looking for an assistant. He needs somebody out of Southgate. And so I applied for the job, and I got a job offer. But unfortunately, the job offer was significantly less than I was making at that time. And so I talked to my parents. I said, what do you think? Because I wanted a career. I didn't just want a job anymore. And so my parents said, mira, hijo, venimos a este país para que tomes pasos para adelante, no para atrás. You see, they thought, sorry to translate, we came to this country so that you can take a step forward, not a step back. So they thought that because I was going to take a pay cut, it meant that I was going to take a step back. But what they didn't know is that I wanted to have a career. I didn't want to work with my hands anymore. I wanted to work with my brain and my heart. And so I took the job. And just in case you're wondering who lowballed me, it's Laura Barrera. She's sitting right there. When you walk out, if you could give her a dirty look, I would really appreciate that. Laura, if you could raise your hand, please, Laura. Sonia, if you could point her out, please. That's her right there. You can give her a dirty look and tell her, how could you, how dare you. That's the mayor. And so my dream came true. I'm having a problem saying true today. I'm saying through. It's like a Mexican accent thing I got. And I got the job, and shortly thereafter I get promoted. I get to move on to Sacramento, and I got to work at that building that I fell in love with. And actually, that's where my passion to serve this community started. You see, I was talking to this guy, and he asked me, he's like, where are you from? Because nobody's from Sacramento. Everybody's like a transplant there. And I said, Los Angeles. He said, what part? And I said, Southgate. And he said, oh, that corrupt community. And that lit a little fire in my heart, because I had never heard anything like that before. And so I went on, came back here. As you heard my resume, I worked for the school board. I worked for Gloria Molina, and now I'm with the Morello Group. And maybe 9 months ago, there was this map that came out on Facebook. It was called the stereotypical map. And the stereotypical map was pretty mean. It said in Monterey Park, the Asians live there. In East LA, the Mexicans live there. And MacArthur Park, Central Americans live there. And in our part of town, it said, corrupt politicians. That's what it said. That fire got just a little bit bigger. And so for me, I've been wanting to give back to my community ever since then, to restore integrity in these communities, not only in Southgate, but in the entire Southeast area. And then 2 months ago, I heard the speaker who had a profound impact on my life. He turned my life upside down. He shared that a child's life can be predetermined by the zip code they live in, more than the parents' genetics. That where a child lives will dictate this child's health more than the background of his parents, his mom and dad, or her mom and dad. And for those of you who know me, I love and I adore my son. So that means that my son, who's a little boy today, he's 16 months old, will be a man one day. And if these folks are right, my son will be obese. My son will be pre-diabetic or diabetic. And my son will be asthmatic. And I can tell you that it's kind of accurate because I grew up in Southgate all my life. And I'm obese, I'm diabetic, and I'm asthmatic. So I have choices I can make. I can accept things the way they are. I can move my family out. Or I can dedicate my life to redefining the 90280. I can dedicate my life to changing. Thank you. I can dedicate my life to changing this, and that's what I'm committed to, you guys. I am obsessed right now with this. I am obsessed with changing my community. That little fire that was inside of me exploded 2 months ago. I'm obsessed with changing the course of this community. Not only Southgate's, but again, the entire Southeast. That's my commitment to my child and to your children. But I can't do it alone. I need all of you. I need my friends from Downey, I need my friends from Linwood, I need my friends from Bell. I need every resident. And it begins with believing. It begins with believing in these communities, which unfortunately a lot of people don't do. When I go to these big city meetings and I talk about being the mayor of Southgate, sometimes people snicker. They talk about the Southeast as the corrupt corridor, or the corridor of corruption. And I'm tired of that. I really want to change that. So again, it begins with everybody. And so when I was sworn in a year ago, I talked about my priority being civic engagement. And the reason is because folks simply aren't engaged. Not only in Southgate, but throughout the state and throughout this country. We see it every day. And we're working really hard to do that. And so I set out on a mission to really get folks more civically engaged. And I gotta thank you, Mike. Where'd you go? Mike, thank you so much. Because of your leadership, yes, he deserves a round of applause, yes. Because of your leadership, I gotta tell you, man, we've done more than I thought we were gonna do. Thank you so much, man. Thank you, Mike. You see, I had this vision that I wanted to set out to. And when this guy talked about that, about the 90280, I started trying to visualize what kind of community I wanted my child to live in. I looked 20 years into the future, and I saw a community. I saw a community where people were walking, where they were cycling, where they were using public transportation. I didn't see double-decker freeways. I didn't see freeways with 10 lanes or more. I saw a community. And so my commitment is now to work my way backwards, to build that community that I see for my child. And again, it takes all of you to be a part of this. So we are going to be reimagining the 90280. And how we're going to do it is with civic engagement. This year we engaged in a lot of stuff for civic engagement. We have 3 people, 2 that were hired this year, simply to get folks more motivated to be a part of the city. We hired Giselle Mares, who's handling all of our social media. So we are on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So I hope you don't leave today without liking us or whatever it is that you do. I'm not very good at that stuff, but please do it. We created a website that we manage and we keep up to date. We record our council meetings and we put it on the website. We put the agenda beforehand on the website so that people can have access to. We're trying everything. We have a new app. We have a new app that if you see graffiti on that wall, you can snap a picture of it, press a button, and it sends it to Public Works. We're trying everything, folks. Yeah. We've also picked, well, Marina's been with us for a very long time. Marina Urias, if you can stand up, please. Marina's dedicated to being the business liaison. So I always talk about the three-legged stool. I'm sure you've heard it everywhere. It takes residents, businesses, and the government to work together to keep that stool alive, or standing, I guess. And Marina is our liaison. We've been doing business visits every week. For my boss, if you can cover your ears, every week we do 2 business visits. I get paid $600 a month to be mayor, so I have to have a real job, and so it gets kind of tough with the scheduling and stuff. But you know, you'd be surprised how many businesses say they've never been visited before. Or when they say they've been visited, they say, oh yeah, the code enforcement was here last week. I'm like, no, we're not here for that, man. We're here to reach out. We're not here to take anything. We're here to get a handout and say, hey man, we're here to support you and be a business partner to you. And so we've been doing that, and it's been very successful. And I think I've seen many of you that I've visited for the first time this year. Thank you so much for being here as well. We also hired a young lady by the name of Sarah with the police department. And her job is to create 100 neighborhood watches within the first year. We're at, what is it, Richard, 50-something? He's saying 54 or 45. 54. 54 neighborhood watch groups since the time we became mayor. That's pretty incredible. 54 neighborhood watch groups. The goal is to have a neighborhood watch group in every single block in Southgate. When I got sworn in, I talked about we can hire 10 new police officers. But imagine if every single one of these eyes and ears were out in our community keeping an eye out. Imagine how much more of an impact that would make. And so that's what we're working towards. So I see a lot of folks here also who have created neighborhood watch groups in the back who've been very active, participating, and I thank you for your service. And with civic engagement comes some things that sometimes we don't want, and that's a lot more criticism. Our council meetings are a lot more full. Sometimes we used to have like 3 or 4 people. Now it's closer to 10 or 12 or 15. And sometimes people look at me and say, is this what you wanted? Yeah, it's exactly what I wanted. Because of that, we've seen a lot more projects happening. We've hired 8 new police officers this year. We have public safety officers. Yeah, thank you, residents. I know they're happy about that. We have PSOs on Tweedy Mile, and we got a partnership with LA County on mental health, which is very important because instead of going and treating someone with mental health needs with law enforcement tools, we're taking social workers with us, mental health counselors, to be able to provide assistance. And I think that's an incredible partnership. So if anybody's here from the county, thank you very much. Let's go to community enhancements. Oh, infrastructure improvements, yes. So a lot of you faced traffic to get here. I know you did. I know some of you complained to me and say you should do something about the traffic. Yeah, my boss is raising his hand. He said there's a lot of traffic. This year, we've approved $7 million of the Firestone Bridge widening. It's an important project that we're working on. It's gonna make sure that the folks from Downey can come and shop in Southgate now, right, Alex? We've improved our water infrastructure with $1.5 million in well improvements. This project that is killer for me. So as many of you know, I'm a cyclist. And we've got this project that's connecting all the way from Alameda all the way to the LA River. For me, that's just so incredible. Before it used to be blighted area, overgrown vegetation, and sometimes it'd be bulky items. Today, it's just gonna be a linear park, all the way from Alameda to the LA River. Get it done, Mike. We've also added new hours to our libraries. That was something that I was very passionate about. Our library was only open 4 days a week. Our communities are poor when it comes to computer use. So we opened the library to 6 days a week with a partnership. The city matched some funds, and the county did as well, and now we open our library 6 days a week. I'm very proud of that. We planted 1,800 trees, and also for those of you who have been Tweedy at night, doesn't it look beautiful? We planted up some like Christmas trees or Christmas lights, but we're keeping them all year long. We figure we'll match your houses for those of you who understand this joke. And then again, we've had so many more folks engaged this year. We have so many people calling us about different stuff. I know Denise called me the other day, said there's a parking issue with this restaurant in the back. I didn't know if there was anything that we can do about it. I called Mike talked to Arturo, and they came up with something creative. They painted the lines a little differently, and we did something very cool for a business that was struggling with parking. And every day I see our staff do stuff like that. It's so incredible that they work outside the box. I wasn't used to that in government, but here in Southgate it's a little bit different. We also had these residents that put together a petition and said, why can't we park on either side of the street on different days? One day we park on this side, one day you park on this side. It doesn't make any sense. It didn't make any sense to us. We had to look back and see what happened. We found out there was really no reason for it. We changed it up, and the residents are super happy. And one of the things that I really want to announce that I'm really proud of, although the mayor of Long Beach beat me to it, and his is maybe just a little bit better than mine, but we're going to knock off about 3.5 hours from the no parking on the days of street sweeping and trash pass. For the residents, it's a pretty big deal. Before, if you live on the street where street sweeping was going to pass, you couldn't park from 8:30 to 4. And that was problematic. So today we're going to break it up into 2 shifts, or not today, but soon we will be breaking it up into 2 shifts, and residents will be able to park there a lot sooner. I think it's going to be a lot better for the residents, and so I'm really happy about that. And looking forward, we have 2 really big things coming up soon. Have you ever heard of Ciclavia? Can you imagine it's coming to Southgate in the Southeast? Isn't that incredible? And lastly, for those of you who already seen the construction, we have a brand new development. It's called the Crossroads. It's on Garfield and Firestone, because it is really the crossroads, the arteries of the city of Southgate, on Garfield and Firestone. It's a brand new development that's going to be opening up in the next month or 2. We already have some businesses that have opened, but it should be fully open in the summer of this year. And so we're really excited about that. And so here it is, guys. I just want to close with this. President Barack Obama said that a zip code shouldn't be a life determinant. It should simply be an address. And that's what I'm dedicating my life for my son, for your children. Now I want to introduce this new video that we put together. Again, we're trying to raise the bar, and we've set this video to showcase and highlight our city, so I hope you enjoy it. It's about 45 minutes long. I'm just kidding.
The city of Southgate, all around signs of renewal, reinvention, and possibility. Located in the heart of the Los Angeles metropolitan area, Southgate is one of the 20 largest cities in the county, with more than 96,000 people calling it home. Incorporated in the 1920s, Southgate steadily grew into a powerhouse manufacturing hub, helping to fuel America's success in World War II. Southgate remains a center of manufacturing, with 5,500 businesses calling the city home. One of the keys to Southgate's business success is ease of transportation. The 710 and 105 freeways and the Alameda Corridor run adjacent to the city. Southgate is only 7 miles from downtown Los Angeles, 13 miles from the Los Angeles International Airport, and 20 miles north of the ports of Los Angeles and Long Beach. Residents benefit from a city dedicated to education, with 32 public, private, and vocational schools from the elementary through high school levels. East LA College's Southgate campus currently serves 5,000 students, with plans for a brand new facility that would nearly double that number. World-class universities like USC and UCLA, as well as 3 California State University campuses, are all within a 20-mile radius. Affordable housing, along with hundreds of residential units under construction or in the planning stages, makes Southgate an oasis in the overpriced Los Angeles real estate market. Southgate maintains a high quality of life by including a simple concept: room to play. The city's 9 public parks are equipped with playgrounds, picnic areas, a dog park, and LA River access. The flagship site is Southgate Park, spread over 96 acres in the city center. This recreational haven includes a year-round indoor swim stadium, a 9-hole golf course, batting cages, tennis courts, baseball fields, and a second-to-none soccer facility. Shopping, dining, and entertainment are serviced by charming specialty shops and restaurants along Tweedy Mile, as well as national brands at the Azalea Regional Shopping Center and El Paseo Shopping Center. And new retail is continuously being added throughout the city. Sustainability is a part of Southgate's future plans. The city is steadily introducing the concept of eco-friendly living with various programs and projects throughout the community. On a broader scale, the city has approved a bicycle transportation plan, and plans are in the works for 3 stations and villages that would link to an environmentally friendly, state-of-the-art light rail. The city of Southgate is one of Southern California's most dynamic communities. Whether it's to live, play, or do business, see for yourself what Southgate can be for you.
Well, thank you very much, everyone. Thank you for attending, and God bless you. Thank you.